arrived. I was expecting you. Don't think we've met. I'm Leyland Sachem Trask, metaphysical scribe and evangelist for the supernatural. I was just holding court with these two ladies. Honor and glory. Crowning time. They say 100 wood carvers worked on the Titanic. Such effort. Now in such danger. Yes, for the ship. And for a mutual acquaintance. I visited with a very nice woman in second class, a Mrs. Hart. Won't sleep a wink at night, she says, because something dreadful is about to happen. She believes to call this ship unsinkable flies in the face of God, and such arrogance will be punished. She should join the Bureau. I see your friend, Willy von Haderlitz. He is in very great danger. The ring. Yes, did you notice the Russian characters on the inside band? Willy has a hidden life. There's a girl, a pretty girl. Haderlitz knows her. Show her the ring. She'll help you. Good luck. These, my friend, will surprise you. Mark my words. You know, a medium told me the only danger in my life would come on water. Salt or fresh, he did not say. Damn it all, I wish they'd be more specific. That pipe's been someplace quite humid recently. I'd visit the Turkish bath. Good luck. Good night.
Evening. Where to? At your service. At your service. Take my lift to D deck. Take the doors beneath the stairs. Walk down 3 flights. Can't miss it. Now where to? Mind the gate. You and that German fellow, walking the ship at all hours. I don't know your excuse, but he's got a sweetheart on D deck. See now, use his friend and all. I bet you'd like to know where she stays. It's cabin 19, D deck. Here you are. It's as far as I go.
I say, how are you getting on?
Getting on? We use gangplanks, if I remember.
Quick as a cow, she is. Seen Guggenheim about?
Such a gentleman, extremely attentive to the ladies.
Especially his mistress. They say he stashed her on board somewhere.
Really, Henry? Not Mr. Guggenheim?
The Titanic's not a damned rectory, you know.
But Henry...
Quite the randy old goat from what I hear.
Good night.
Yes? You want something? It's Willie's ring. Willie, what's happened? Something bad, hasn't it? Something to Willie. He told me if I ever received this ring, I was to know that whoever gave it to me was a friend, and to tell them about the notebook, that they should find it. Willie's hidden a notebook on board, that's all I know. Now what about Willie? Is he hurt? Oh, he told me jokes. Bad ones, but he made me laugh. Not like Mama's friends. Mama, she doesn't like Germans, unless they've a title to their name. But I like Willie a lot. May I have it? The ring? Thank you. I'll never forget this. Willie's in trouble. Please help him if you can.
Quickly, there's not much time. Willie Hadelitz is dead, electrocuted in the Turkish bath. I heard one of the officers talking about it. This may not have been an accident. Apparently, someone wants that painting badly enough to kill for it. Do you have it? Not doing so well, are you? Someone must have taken the painting before you got there. Young Hadelitz, a Tsarist spy? It's beginning to become clear. Quite possibly. We need more information about the murder. A notebook. Zeitel's previous mission was aiding a band of Russian revolutionaries called Bolsheviks who want to overthrow the Tsar. The Germans would like nothing better than to see chaos in Russia. I'll bet that notebook's got names of Russian radicals. Such a list would be very important to the Okhrana, the Russian secret police. With it, they'd root out the Bolshevik ringleaders and eliminate a threat to the Tsar, which would certainly help the rest of us. If Hadelitz was murdered, you'll need protection. Here, this pen releases a single burst of knockout gas when opened. Find that notebook. It could be vitally important. Go investigate the situation at the Turkish bath. Move.
Jack, is that you? I'll be right out. I don't want to wake the baby. Oh. But we were meeting later. Where's Jack? Please, I don't want no trouble. I didn't know the letter was so dear. I just wanted to take something, anything that looked valuable. For the baby. It was Jack who read it. Saw it was bad for Mr. Conkling. He said the bit about selling bad steel would ruin him if it was to get out in the papers. My baby, Eddie. He's the only reason I stood them last month at the Conklings. I knew Mr. Conklin weren't going to leave his missus. I was only a parlour maid, but I didn't care. I was happy to have his baby. Him and Mrs. Conklin, I thought they was so kind, until I found out that Mrs. Conklin was going to steal my baby for her own. Once I had it, she would fire me and take Eddie for herself. She can't have her own babies. So they used me to get one, to get Eddie. When I found out that was her plan, I left. I didn't know the letter was anything. I thought it might hold a pound or two. Anyway, Jack, he says Mr. Conklin got the letter from an engineer up at the mill. Said the mill's been making bad steel. High in sulfur is what he called it. The steel's no good, and they put it in the Titanic. It'd be a scandal if it got out. That's why Mr. Conklin wants the letter back. But Jack, he says Conklin'll have to pay us to get it. $5,000. Huh, Mrs. Conklin's probably behind it. All she cares about is a fine name and pots of cash. And a baby. But she won't get Eddie. No, she won't. And if she tries, I'll ruin her. Make her poor as me. Oh, that's Eddie. Bye. Don't forget about our meeting.
What have you heard? Anything? Tell me. You knew him? Look. Don't breathe a word to anyone. This was just a simple accident. Ismay is going to raise hell when he hears, and I thought this would be an easy trip. Talk to Smethers, his steward. Say the man came down here after using the squash courts. Be my guest. Mind you, it's not pretty. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Most regrettable. Most regrettable indeed. The young German gentleman, dead. In the electric bath. Quite unanticipated. He was alive. Most vocally, too. Just a few hours before, arguing with someone on B deck. Yes, I believe Dr. O'Loughlin is waiting to move him, so as not to alarm the other passengers. It is, I must warn you, a most unpleasant sight. The gentleman's voice was unfamiliar. About a painting. He'd misplaced it. And the other gentleman wanted to know where it was. Very good. This is most irregular. Most irregular indeed.
Christ almighty wonder! You has a face ache, ain't you? Rooming the ship, hooking your nose into everyone's business. Christ almighty wonder! You has a face ache, ain't you? Rooming the ship, hooking your nose into everyone's business. Christ almighty wonder! You has a face ache, ain't you? Rooming the ship, hooking your nose into everyone's business. Christ almighty wonder! You has a face ache, ain't you? Rooming the ship, hooking your nose into everyone's business. Christ almighty wonder! You has a face ache, ain't you? Rooming the ship, hooking your nose into everyone's business. Just who do you take me for now? One of those la-di-da millionaires up top? Jack Hacker keeps his word, honors his promises. When I saw you coming, I says to myself, they'll be wanting to know about him. The foreign gentleman, German I suspect, a rapidly nervous type he was too. Gave me a bob and told me to tell whoever asked to repeat a phrase word for word. You want to hear it now? But still the vine her ancient ruby yields, and still a garden by the water blows. Yeah, that's it. Here, he wrote it down. What's it mean anyway? Some rich man's game you play? You can have it. Just tell Conklin we want the money tonight.
God has moved his mighty hand against the wicked. Gambling, lewdness, and a mixing of the classes are repaid with fire. You have heard the news? young Hadelitz has gone to meet his maker. Or someone else, eh? We can only speculate, can't we? They say the electric bath has never malfunctioned before. Believe me, it wasn't the voltage, but the cleansing work of the Lord. Take this card, a prayer card, from my own collection. I'm looking forward to talking with you about the mission. God needs your help. Thank you so much. I will call on you tomorrow. Good evening.
Even more photos. Look at
Eric, who's at the door?
Stephanie. She's still sore. I want to get her a gift, but it's too late.
Eric!
Got anything Stephanie'd like? I'll trade you. These photos for something for Steffi. What a nice thought for a new bride. Thanks. Here, take my picture. It's a man peering out from the last smokestack.
Eric, come to bed.
Coming, pumpkin. Good night.
You may have heard I am in financial straits. I've borrowed money from Andrew Conkling, money that he is now demanding I pay back. I've none to give. Poverty should remain the domain of the virtuous. I've no taste for it. To tell you, No, I shall fix things first. And without Georgia. Another drink? Another whiskey for, Hope you don't mind if I do. Now, you, want to know some secrets. Thank you, bartender. I'll tell you one. George's diamond necklace. It's a fake. The one on her neck, leastways. I gave the real necklace to Sasha. It's in his cabin for safekeeping. When he gets to New York, he'll sell it, quickly and quietly, for a 20% commission. I'll pay off my debts to Conkling, put Georgia away, sail back to England free and clear. Because I threatened to tell Scotland Yard about his Serbian Aid Society, and because Sasha's a greedy bastard, he'd betray his love for 20%. And Georgia thinks she's outsmarted me. No, she's got a fake about her neck and doesn't know. Another? Georgia, afraid of me. Well, that would be a reaction at least. We no longer evoke emotion in each other. We're husband and wife in name only. Good night, then. You'll sleep well. The whiskey and the sea are both smooth for a change.
Don't mind if I do. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, I always say. Gave a pack of these to the German kid early tonight. He's an odd one. While we was docked in Queenstown, I saw him on top of one of the smokestacks. The last one, right at the top. Who knows what he was up to? Looked like he was hiding something. Crazy crowd kid.
Just seeing to the electric. The fuse box there. She said we've had no time to check her wiring. Adek's been complaining about the lights all night. We'll get her straightened right out. That is if I can find my screwdriver. Wager I forgot it below. Dawn now. Be right back.
doing in my cabin? You must leave immediately. You need to tend to your own affairs. Fortunately, you've left my valuables undisturbed.
Listen, I've discovered the only way into the smokestack, through the engine room. Find that notebook. Helping the Tsar will help us too.
Oh, she's still running rough. You're so clever last time, you care to have a go again? Here, take a look at the instruction manual. You might have better luck than me. Right, there's a gauge showing the turbine's power output. The needle's got to move into the green zone. Cheers, mate.
Interfered in my affairs for the last time. Prepare to die at the hands of Serbia.